Let's read a book. Let's read a book.
Today we are gonna read Beauty and the Beast. There was once a rich merchant with 3 daughters. The 2 older girls were spoiled and wanted the finest things, but the youngest daughter was sweet-natured and so lovely to look at that everyone called her Beauty. Then the merchant lost all his money, and the family had to move to the countryside. One day, he heard that his ship had come home, laden with goods. "I'm off to town," he said, and asked his daughters what to bring back. The older girls asked for jewels and new dresses, but Beauty said, "Just bring me 1 rose." After selling his cargo, the merchant paid off his debts. But to his horror, he found he had no money left at all. The merchant rode home, feeling very sad, but along the way it started to snow heavily and he got lost in the forest. Then the merchant saw a light. It came from a big house. He went in, but there was nobody around. The merchant found a dining room with a blazing fire, and a table laid for one. Since he was so hungry, he ate a whole chicken, 3 delicious desserts, and drank a jugful of wine. After dinner, he explored the empty house and found a room with a comfortable bed already made up. He was so tired that he crawled into it and fell fast asleep. The next morning, the merchant found new clothes laid out for him. He got dressed and went for a walk in the garden. He saw a rose bush and remembered Beauty. Just 1 rose, he thought, plucking it from the bush. Then there was a mighty roar. "How dare you steal my flowers? I will kill you for that," said the beast. The merchant pleaded, and the beast said he would spare the merchant's life if one of his daughters would take his place. When the merchant got home and told his daughter what had happened, Beauty said right away, "The rose was for me, father, so I will take your place. Let the beast eat me." Beauty's father wept. Even her sister managed to shed some crocodile tears. Beauty trembled as she entered the beast's house. There stood the beast, but instead of eating her, as Beauty had feared, he welcomed her into his home. The beast gave Beauty a wonderful room with a magic mirror in which she could see her old home whenever she wanted. Gradually, Beauty became fond of the beast, but she was shocked when he asked her to marry him. "No," she thought, "I cannot love a beast." But he proposed to her every day. One day, Beauty looked into her magic mirror and saw that her father was sick. She begged the beast to let her go home for a visit. "You may go," he said, "but you must promise to come back after 1 week." Beauty found herself back at home by magic. Her sisters were jealous of the beautiful clothes and jewels the beast had given her. "Let's keep her here longer than a week," they said. "Then the beast will be angry and gobble her up." But Beauty began to miss the beast. One night, Beauty had a dream that the beast was dying, so she wished herself back at his house. She went through the rooms looking for him, but they were all empty. Beauty ran out into the garden and there in the rose garden lay the beast. He looked as if he was dying. "Don't die, beast," he cried. "I love you. I will marry you." And suddenly the beast was transformed into a handsome prince. He told Beauty that he had been put under a spell by a wicked fairy. Beauty and the prince were married and lived happily ever after. And a good fairy turned the two older sisters into statues, which had to stand forever at their sister's gate.
Si te gustó este video, dale me gusta y no te olvides de suscribirte. También entra a www.claudacosta.com para adquirir práctica de este y de otros temas, productos exclusivos y tener la oportunidad de matricularte a mis clases de inglés.